We have tsunamis of cash flooding into Bitcoin and other alternative cryptocurrencies. What's happening in cryptocurrency? What do we need to know? And what's the long-term strategy? Let's discuss. Hey everybody, I'm Gary Palmer Jr., you're you, and together, welcome to Minting Coins. So I want to thank you for showing up and want to give a big shout out to all the people that have been hitting the like button on the videos that we've been pumping out, who have been leaving comments, who have been emailing us, contacting us, calling us. It's been really wonderful just to receive all sorts of support from all different sorts of people all over the world, and it really means a lot, and it's just very good energy to help us and to motivate us and to keep me going and delivering this information for you. And there's no shortage of information to deliver, and with so much information flooding the market, normally I think we hear a lot about FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt. FUD is used to get people to sell their position or to sell what they have or to leave where they are, and you don't want to be affected by that fear, uncertainty, and doubt. At the same time, there's also what I call high, and other people I hear reference as high, which is just hope and inspiration, trying to do the opposite of FUD, just saying lots of good things to get speculators to invest their money into that particular token. So with the markets and so much money flooding inside cryptocurrency, and with this being so new, it's critical that you understand the differences when you're reading information or when you're hearing information, let it be an article or a YouTube video. The hype when people are getting you to buy without good information, or the fear when other people are getting you to sell without good information. And you could have this hype or this FUD for Bitcoin. You could have this hype or this FUD for any particular new token or new ICO. You could have hype or you could have FUD for the US dollar, even though there's a lot more FUD out there for the dollar than there is hype. So what's going on and what's happening? What is the value? What's happening short term versus where do you want to be long term? When all the dust settles after the shift really hits the fan, where do you want your chips to be? And so I think it's really important for us to have a solid understanding about where we are now with Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, but not necessarily how this Bitcoin relates to the US dollars, but how the different cryptocurrencies relate to Bitcoin. So with that, I want to dive into the information and show you exactly what I'm talking about, and show you the scenario that we are leading into, that everyone who has been talking about cryptocurrency and blockchain in the blockchain space has been talking about. But we are in the footsteps of big change, and even though this could also feel like a bubble, and it probably is a bubble, and we should definitely expect some pullback, long term, this market is going in one direction. So without further ado, let's dive into where we're at. Let's see what we see, and let's discuss. So starting over here at the market, over at coinmarketcap.com, the past 2 days even have just been crazy. Bitcoin has doubled in value. It's around $2,700, give or take, depending on who you are, where you are, how you're trying to get Bitcoin in your neck of the woods. And at the same time, we see Ethereum breaking $200. We see a lot of these currencies, which were all green just a couple of days ago, but now we're seeing a lot of these currencies fall into the red. And it's really interesting because Ethereum has been hovering around $175 to $200 plus, and people have been seeing this fluctuation in the currency or not a strong fluctuation in the dollar amount of the currency, but it's really interesting not when we look at the cost of Ethereum to dollars like we do in Coinbase when we purchase Ethereum, but how we see the price of Ethereum compared to Bitcoin, and how all roads lead back to Bitcoin. Because with the increased price of Ethereum, we need to keep in mind that there's even though it might be a small rate of additional coin release, there's no defined limit for the supply of Ethereum. And since there's no defined limit for the supply of Ethereum, if there just happened to be a sell-off of Ethereum with creation of Ethereum happening, there's just an inflation component, an inflationary component to Ethereum that is similar to the US dollar and fiat money, although to not that level of an extreme. Now, I'm a big believer in Ethereum, but we have to understand what is the value as it relates to the application. And so when we compare Ethereum to gold, or digital gold, meaning Bitcoin, when we compare Ethereum to Bitcoin, Bitcoin is like a digital gold. The total supply of Bitcoin is not going to change. There will essentially forever be a 21 million Bitcoin limit hard cap. And that just cannot be changed. It's not going to be changed. And what we know is that the US dollars are decreasing in value because of inflation. Bitcoin is increasing in value because of deflation. And as more cryptocurrencies like Ethereum become in much greater demand, as all the banks and all the websites are going to require people to have Ethereum, to use Ethereum, as all these websites jump into the Ethereum blockchain, the buying and selling of this marketplace is not going to happen in the petrodollar. This buying and selling in the marketplace is going to happen in Bitcoin. And so the demand for Bitcoin is going to grow exponentially more extreme as the total demand for all the other cryptocurrencies increases, simply because the whole marketplace is exploding with innovation and opportunity, and essentially the total number of Bitcoin is shrinking more and more every year. So 5 years ago, if you wanted to get 100 Bitcoin, it was more attainable of a goal than it is to get 100 Bitcoin today, let alone 6 months ago. But as we can clearly see, the demand for Bitcoin is going to be so great that it's going to overtake the market, and it's going to drive the value of the Bitcoin up higher and higher and higher. And the bottom line of this whole little rant is that as you're getting excited about the whole marketplace, and you're getting excited about Ethereum, justifiably so, and you're getting excited about Litecoin, which doesn't have the politics, and it also has SegWit activated, both unlike Bitcoin, Ethereum Classic, even other coins on this list. Dash has value, Monero has value, Zcash has value. All of these are, as the value of all these coins grow, all this money is going to be going back into Bitcoin. And don't lose your Bitcoin. That's the bottom line. Don't lose your Bitcoin. Buy and hold your Bitcoin. Don't lose your Bitcoin. It is going to be the most valuable resource long term. These other coins might be gaining these profits short term, but what happened? All these coins gained short term profits over the past 2 days with all this hype from consensus and from all of these announcements, including the fake announcement that Monero announced to hype up their coin, and they told everyone it was a fake announcement. All this money went into all these coins, and then 24 hours later, now where are we, Thursday morning, and all that money has now been pumped back into Bitcoin, driving Bitcoin's price up. And so now it's even more difficult for the average person to get their Bitcoin. And so buy and hold your Bitcoin, get your Bitcoin, realize that Bitcoin is your most valuable asset over time. Even as the dominance decreases, the value per Bitcoin, in my opinion, will exponentially grow. And So just getting into this a little bit more to underscore this point, because I do want to wrap up this video for you guys. I want to keep these videos a little shorter, but I can't believe that we're doing this. But I'm reporting to you, I'm showing you that according to the Cointelegraph and from CNBC themselves, CNBC is reporting that Bitcoin is mandatory for portfolio protection. So, you know, it's pretty mainstream of a media source. I suppose NBC would be the most mainstream, but this is CNBC reporting that because of overseas, or the two places to put money to avoid the U.S. economic uncertainty and financial instability are overseas equities and Bitcoin. And I don't want to get into all the different reasons, but there's a lot of things going on with the economy, with selling off of the dollar, with politics in the United States. But here we have CNBC telling people, their readers, about Bitcoin. We have Forbes.com asking their readers, talking to their readers about what's behind a spike in Bitcoin. Typically, the demographic at Forbes, they're not interested in Bitcoin. They're pushing gold and securities, traditional securities. But here we see this really being brought up to people's attention because of the massive spike in growth. The demand is so high and it's so difficult for people in South Korea to get Bitcoin that the arbitrage that's happening, Bitcoin spike price in South Korea, $4,500, just crazy additional cost to get Bitcoin there because of the hoops that they had to jump through and the demand for which they want it. But what about America? If you're in America, you can go to Coinbase. Well, yes, but what we recognize is that the value in Coinbase is slightly higher than the other exchanges, and what we also recognize is as the demand is increasing in America because people are seeing Bitcoin in the news, in CNBC, at Forbes.com, they're trying to find out how do they purchase Bitcoin, going to Gemini, going to Coinbase, and Coinbase is extremely slow for new accounts. It's having problems and lagging for existing users to purchase their Bitcoin and sometimes even access the website. And let me just put it to your imagination. What if Coinbase went down, or what if Coinbase was inaccessible, or what if Coinbase wasn't allowed to sell Bitcoin and you had no option to purchase Bitcoin? What would then be the market rate and the arbitrage of the price of Bitcoin in America? So last but not least, and I'll probably bring this up in a future video as well, what I have here is coinmarketcap.com, and we're looking at the Ethereum currency over the past 7 days. And down here we have in blue we have the total market cap, and so we see over the past 7 days it's been increasing and has sort of been steady along this line. In green here we have the price of US dollars. And so the price of US dollars, again, you can see how this has been sort of increasing and sort of stable, and it had a spike up here, and then, again, sort of is trailing off at around the $200 mark. And then in orange, we have the Bitcoin price. And so what everyone on Coinbase who's purchasing Ethereum, or what everyone who's purchasing Ethereum or all these other cryptocurrencies aren't realizing when they compare it to US dollars, is that when you just look at the dollar price and you just see it stay the same price around $200 this whole time, look at the price of Bitcoin. If you had your tokens here when it was $200, but the price of Bitcoin was 0.08 versus in say this instance over here, when the price of Bitcoin, when the dollars might be the same, the dollars might be higher, but if you look at the price of Bitcoin is lower at 0.07. So whatever your holdings are, if you have 10 Ethereum and you do 10 Ethereum times $192, so you have $1,900, you really want to understand what that value is, what your 10 Ethereum is times 0.078 versus your 10 Ethereum times 0.09, because at this point right here, you just have, again, you just have to recognize that the value of $200 of Ethereum when Bitcoin is one price is just different when the price of the Bitcoin is changing. The bottom line, measure your portfolio in terms of Bitcoins. Don't measure your portfolio in terms of dollars. If you invested 10 Ether and into some ICO, and 10 Ether is $500 USD, but it's 0.5 Bitcoin, but the price of Bitcoin changes dramatically from USD, and you have that 10 Ethereum, you have to compare the value of Ethereum to what it was in Bitcoin, not the value of Ethereum to what it was in dollars. Because of inflation, it's a losing battle otherwise. Focus on the Bitcoins, buy and hold the Bitcoins. When you are looking at the value in the transactions, transact those in Bitcoins. So that's what the big takeaway is there, because again, the short-term gains for what's happening in the space, so that people are pumping these ICOs, these altcoins, the alternative currencies. When those currencies get pumped up, the value in those currencies get distributed back into Bitcoin for those coins to diversify into Bitcoin, because the value of Bitcoin is going to be increasing. The long-term game is to then have that value in Bitcoin for you and your family. Now, none of this is financial advice. This is all just speculation and my own personal opinion to share with you. But the facts of what I'm seeing and what I'm hearing about people investing their U.S. dollars into Bitcoin, or investing their Bitcoin into some sort of an investment scheme where they're getting percentage back, or investing into ICOs, or even investing into Ethereum. Measure your return in Bitcoin. Build up your portfolio in Bitcoin. Buy and hold your Bitcoin. The long-term value is going to be in Bitcoin. So if you disagree with me, let me know in the comments below. If you agree with me, let me know in the comments below. And if you have a different opinion on the matter, let me know in the comments below. If you liked this video, if this video helped you, if it supported you, then hit that like button, hit that thumbs up button. Again, it really helps. I really appreciate it. It really supports the channel. I'm going to be pumping out some other videos today, getting some new information to you. There's so much more happening in the news, and then there's just additional detail that I want to share with you, just to get this information to the people who are interested, because this is just moving so fast. This is moving faster than I could have predicted. It's moving faster than I think I wanted to even move, because because things are moving so fast, I'm definitely expecting that we're going to see a drawback, and that drawback people are going to use to create fear, uncertainty, and doubt, and to speak against Bitcoin and speak against the blockchain technology. But mark my words, in my opinion, after we see the pullback, it then will continue to spike even after that. And I think that when we hear people like Tim Draper, and we hear people at Microsoft and PayPal and all sorts of investors talk about a $10,000 or $100,000 or $500,000 Bitcoin, it's just something that we want to pay attention to, and we want to act on sooner than later, if that's a decision that you would want to make for yourself. So thanks again. Talk to you guys again soon, and I'm glad that together we're minting coins.